Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and we're here today with Russ LaBrasca Jr. And what we're going to talk to you about today is connecting people, businesses, and ideas. Guys, remember, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, really all real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x your business. And that's by providing tools and resources to build that business you always wanted to build and live that life you wanted to live. Russ, welcome to our show.
Hey, welcome, John. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Where are you located at? I didn't ask you that before.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually in Boise, Idaho.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know exactly where that's at. Yep.
Yeah, our Investor Fuel, we're based out of Dallas, but I'm in Boise, Idaho. And I'm excited to talk today about, connecting. And I think that's important nowadays because of so many people maybe out there in the business, or even just as a personal human trait. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got here, et cetera.
All right. So I'll give you the shortest version I can because I'm sure we're a little bit short on time. And my book, Connecting versus Networking, will definitely talk about that more. But I'm originally from Chicago. I was born in 1970, so I am the epitome of Gen Xer. I was a hustler from day one. My mom wouldn't let me have a lawn mowing route. So instead, I had 20 houses I would walk to because I lived in a suburb of Chicago. And I would get $20, this is 1980, right? $20 per house to pick up their dog poop in their house. So I was like, I made tons of money just picking up dog poop. I actually had a real rich dad, poor dad life experience growing up. I was telling you, I went to Columbia College in Chicago, and that's where I really learned the art. I've always had the skill, but I really learned the art of how you connect with people. So we live in a society, especially with when you hear the word networking, you think of, hey, I'm creating a network or whatever. But networking really in our society is you hand out 100 business cards. Here's my card, here's my card, here's my card, without taking 1 second to ask the other person anything about themselves. Okay, that is, and then, so it's an all me kind of attitude versus a, how are you, how can I help you situation. Okay, so the last 4 years especially, I've really seen, and I've been through a lot of stuff medically, and this isn't the time for it, but I've really seen the world has become a character versus compromise type scenario. So people will compromise for money, for the love of money, fill in the blank, for the love of whatever, fill in the blank, and they compromise, right? So people that really connect and are genuine, and if you genuinely care about someone, it's amazing what you can do. So connecting is really about building relationships, and the way that you do that is twofold. It's
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Usually there's an introduction of one person to another person, so there's a handoff, right? And this can be high level, low level, medium level. I know a lot of people. I know Mike Hambright. I remember when he did Flip Nerd. Joe McCall. I was on Joe McCall. I'm episode number 3 on Joe McCall and Alex Youngblood's podcast. It was business credit for realestate.com. JP Moses and helped me do it. But where I'm going with that is, I learned, especially in college, but I learned at a really young age. I had a real rich dad, poor dad thing going on as a kid. My friend Derek his dad was Jay Stroden, and my uncle Jay actually was a headhunter for like CEOs like Trump and stuff, right? And so Derek would be like, we'd be in a park somewhere and Derek would bring 2 girls, and we're 15, it's the 80s, right? And Derek's like, come. And I'm like, no, I want to listen to your dad. And he's like, what? And I'm like, and of course I like girls, but I was like, I just was interested in business and stuff. And I could pick up cues, and that's part of connecting too. You pick up cues. If you truly pick up cues from people and go with an attitude of, how can I help them? What's going on first? And then maybe some benefits happen, maybe they don't for you. If you look at it that way, quite honestly, it'll happen. So when I was in Chicago, I told you I have a BA in music business, minor in sound engineering. I'll give you a perfect example of this. All the professors had to be in their field. So I had a professor named Mike who did computers, and he actually lived in a warehouse very close by. And his friend Mike, way too many Mikes in this scenario. His friend Mike was the tour manager for Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. And so I'm talking to the tour manager, Mike, and he's like, Russ, do you want to go on the south side of Chicago tonight and just hang out at the concert and just watch? I'm like, yeah, sure. Now, I was a sound engineer. Like, I could do all this stuff. I'm just going to, the introduction was made, Russ, and I'm like, and Mike was like, Russ really is a great guy, and he'd love to learn what you're doing. And the other Mike was like, hey, want to come, right? So this is natural connecting, right? So I get to the concert, and I'm sitting in the back. Dr. Dre is doing interviews. He's kind of looking back every once in a while, like, who's this fat white kid? But he doesn't care. It's just what's going on. Snoop Dogg, marijuana was illegal at the time in Chicago, highly illegal, but somehow Snoop Dogg had 5 Colt 45 bottles. He's juggling the whole night, and it's hilarious. There was a midget rap group at that time, not a full rap group, a midget rapper. They come to the door, and I had no authority at all. And I knew who they were, and they were like, we need to come in, we're so-and-so. I'm like, yeah, sure, come on in. So I'm sitting in the back, and here's the coolest part. So I'm sitting in the back, hanging out. Mike says I gotta go do some stuff, whatever. And then their sound engineer guy is starting to set up for the night. He ate a bad burrito or something or whatever, and he's blowing chunks everywhere. And so Mike's like, Russ, can you jump on the board? Heck yeah. So I'm jumping on the board. I do the concert.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
They had to go to another tour, so I never got to actually meet yet Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. And I say
Right.
yet, um, I'm sure I will at some point again because that's how my life has been. And those started to form certain moments. So fast forward to I end up because of different things, which we're short on time, obviously, for today, but I end up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I was telling you the story of I ended up working for one of the first internet service providers called MindSpring, and I started as a tech support rep for them for 6 months, and I loved every minute of it. And I was one of the best tech support reps, and I'm not saying that arrogantly at all. I'm saying because I understood how to deal with people when they would get on the phone and they'd be angry and they'd be angry for
Mm.
2 minutes waiting for 2 minutes. Nowadays you wait an hour for customer service, right? So
Sure.
I understood and we were kind of piecemeal building stuff because it was very early on in stages, but I understood the concept of um, there's a concept called when people get angry, when they're truly angry,
Mm-hmm.
anger is not a primary emotion, it's a secondary emotion. So hurt, fear, rejection, loss, frustration, pain, physical pain, those are all the things that motivate anger, okay? And so the very first thing is when you're meeting someone and they come across as angry or whatever, and in that situation is they're not they just call tech support. So they're not angry at Russ. They're not angry at me. They're angry at the
Sure.
situation, right? So if you understand that, which I did, I'm like, hey, I totally understand. How can I help you solve your problem? What's going on? And then they tell you, and then immediately critically thinking, boom, solve the problem. And then um, it's very quick and easy to do that stuff. So I'm sure you guys in real estate, and I've flipped over 500 properties, and I'll
Wow.
get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
And I coached a number of people, and I created the real Amish Mafia here in Lancaster. And I'm Italian. You guys are Amish. I literally uttered that phrase in one of my meetings, and then 6 months later, the show Amish Mafia had come out, and yes, the producers were in the room, and there's lots of stories to that too. But I want to stay focused on the Earthlink thing or
Yes.
Mindspring thing for a second because this skill set is really important. So I did it for 6 months. I was one of their best techs. And my supervisors knew it. And now we're up to 200 people at this call center. And the one thing though is I have ADHD and I'm dyslexic. So at the time CRMs weren't in place and I had to stop between calls and they're like, whatever. So the director, because of that, all my supervisors were saying Russ would be a great supervisor. And the director was named John Rietmuller. John's a great guy, but and it was an internet company, and
Mm.
uh, all my friends, supervisor friends, and my supervisor's name was Quito. It was like Russ should be a supervisor. He's good at this, and so one day there was a New York CES conference or whatever, and they said, Russ, you want to go to New York for the day? I'm like, yeah, sure. We're 2 hours away. Lancaster, PA is where I'm at, so central PA, and it's definitely not just Amish. We go up to New York, and I'm wearing John's badge, and so people are coming up to me thinking I'm somebody, and I'm not. And I collect this big bag of just junk of stuff, like all the tchotchkes you get. We come back for the night, and I don't know. I wasn't consciously thinking about it or whatever. And I go into John's office, and I go, "Hey, John, here's all the stuff from the conference. And I'd throw the bag. And
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
everything lays out, goes all over the table, right? And my supervisor, Quito's like, oh, shoot, Russ is going to get fired. And 10 minutes later, Quito goes to me, you have the next team of 20. You're now a supervisor. John made you supervisor. Yeah.
There you go.
So from that point on, for another 6 months, I was the top trainer or top supervisor because of the skill I just said about we would buy up little internet service providers, and my team, the first 20 minutes they would hand off training to me because I had the best teams. And first 20 minutes would be reading with Russ. And then after that, it'd be, let's push this to the side. Okay. And then I would teach the skills I was just saying about anger is not a primary, the soft skills, right? Those part,
Right.
And then the critical skills of here's how critical thinking skills of let's problem solve their problem. 6 months go by, I become one of their first out of eventually 10 corporate trainers, and for 8 years, until 2003, I ended up being their head corporate trainer. And I was telling you earlier, I was actually scheduled to be on one of the 9/11 planes. That was a moment for me to come back and be like, okay, what am I doing with my life? Ultimately, I met my first mentor, Steve Cook, was a part of Steve Cook, Joe McCall, all these guys, Sean McCloskey, I mean, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
We were JP Moses. We were all kind of part of the original Life in There that became what's called Flip Vips, and one of the first ones. And so in 2005, there's here in Lancaster, and I started to focus solely on Lancaster County, and I understood how to understood the matrix of flipping houses. I really liked just flipping houses, rehab the retail. And I also got very good at business lines of credit and business credit cards. And so in 2005, we were typical 3-day or 2-day masterminds in some other state somewhere. And I don't even remember, Kansas City maybe, or Florida, or who knows. And my mastermind group said there was a very small, I think it was on a bulletin board. Meetup wasn't even a page yet. This was like 2005, 2006. Now, sometimes my dates get a little skewed because I had a brain tumor in 2007 and I have some health issues and stuff. But so anyway, all my group said to me was, there was a guy named Alan. There was about maybe 12 people going to this little band room in Lancaster Bible College. And he was struggling for these meetings, I could tell. And my meetup group said, again, go with help first. Just ask him if you can help. So I went to Alan. It's 3 a.m. And I said, Alan, can I just help you with your meeting? He goes, you can have it. And it's called REIMG Lancaster. It's still, if you look it up on Meetup, that's how it comes up. Now, I've recently renamed it to Bigger Connect, which is business investor group growing entrepreneurs in real estate. And we can talk about that in a minute. But so from 2005-ish, 6-ish, I went to the college, and Lancaster Bible College that next morning. I said, and at the time, I said, I need the largest room you have. Not having any idea what the next step was going to be. Just kind of a, if you build it, they will come kind of moment, and a trusting,
Right. Yeah.
trusting God kind of moment, right? And so
Putting it out there and letting it,
yeah,
trusting it comes.
yeah. So the coordinator there that ran the room, she's like, well, Alan was paying 75 for the band room. We'll let you have this other room, which was stadium seating, the perfect room for me. Stadium seating, sat 120 people max full on, and we would fill it at times, but for the same price, $75. And I'm like, and it's
Wow.
normally 150, and normally 150, and I'm like, okay, cool. All right, so um, next meeting was John. Next meeting was 50 people showed up. Now at this time, the Amish. Don't let the Amish fool you now. But at this time, they weren't as teched. So I kept the name of the meeting, REIMG Lancaster, and I specifically wanted to make sure it was always the third Thursday of every month, so consistently people would show up. But the first meeting that was when I took it over, right? Like I said, the next meeting in that room, 50 people. The next meeting after that, 70. The next meeting after that, from that point on, 70 to 100, filling the room every single meeting.
Great.
Now, because I was part of a national mastermind, and we talk about connecting, you always have to have a kind of a third party relationship to people. This is part of connecting versus networking. I think we were talking before, maybe it was before the interview, was a lot of people get this wrong. They think of the whole always be closing. Here's my card, here's my card, here's my card, here's my card.
Yeah.
You want to create relationships with people, and then you also want to have a third party verification. But as Reagan said, trust but verify as well. But that's where you get your verification. If you're a person of character, that verification shows up really quickly, really easy. If you're not, that can show up too really quickly, really easy. So my meeting, I was very protective of it. I would bring all my friends, Joe McCall and Craig Fuhrer, and just you name it, Christina Chanel Kraus, Mike Ferris, all my friends would come, Steve Kavanaugh, just all, and we would do Saturday, and I have one this month coming up. Charles Blair is coming up to ours this month. He's down in Baltimore. He's doing a thing on AI. And I would do Saturday workshops. Now, I wouldn't do them every Saturday because I didn't want to, it wasn't about trying to get them, the people in our group, to get them for as much money as possible. Right. My whole philosophy is connecting. So part of the reason my mentor group said, see if you can help is, and also because I was a corporate trainer and I understood this, I was in front of rooms, lots of rooms as a corporate trainer. And I have the ability to connect people, business, and ideas. It's just kind of my matrix. I'm a natural trainer speaker. When people speak, they're really trainers. You're teaching people in front of them. And also, when you hold like a RIA meeting or whatever, you're in front of the room. Yes, you're the authority because they're coming to you and you get that authority part, but you also have to, with what comes authority and authority comes responsibility. So I protected my people as well. I wanted to make sure people I was bringing in were valuable people, knowledgeable people. So the Saturday workshops were pretty much my friends. They would do a 9 to 5-ish. We used to charge $297. One Saturday workshop, I told you, $75 was what my monthly was. So one Saturday workshop would pay for that room for months upon months upon months.
Yeah,
upon
of
months.
course, for sure.
Yeah, and then if they wanted to promote something, they could. I offered coaching in my room. I flipped over 500 houses plus. I had 2.8 billion. I wish 2.8 million in business lines of credit. And so if someone wanted to do a deal with me, great. If they want to do a deal with someone that I brought to the group, great. If they want to do deals with people in the room, great. But we always, and still to this day, and I'm seeing RIAs and groups make mistakes with this, we still always would give disclaimers of don't trust anybody in this room, even me. Trust but verify.
Yeah.
Also business, real estate, etc. This is for entertainment purposes only. That kind of disclaimers.
Yeah. The disclaimers.
Yeah, right. So, but the whole idea was how can for me anyway is my philosophy is how can I help? How can I how can I connect you to the person that you need that works for you? And then maybe all three of us we get into situations and stuff. So um I did that from basically I lived through '08 when lots of people like went really bad because Lancaster County at the time we're very different now, but at the time Lancaster County basically we're 2 hours from New York. We're what most people don't know is any entertainment producer in the world can point to Lidditz, Pennsylvania, which is part of Lancaster, because this is where all the concerts, all the entertainment stuff, that every artist in the world comes through Lidditz, Pennsylvania. It's called Rock Lidditz. It's right down the street from where I'm at. Yeah. So, but we're in central Pennsylvania, which is Lancaster area. Yeah, Lancaster, York, Harrisburg. We are probably pushing about 10 million people actually within a 45-minute range. We're kind of like a Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area, but people think of it as rural. But at that time, in 2008, I saw it. I knew it was coming because I had friends in Baltimore. I had friends in other places, all part of our mastermind. But Lancaster was about a year behind. So I was able to jump on HUD Home Store when it was just starting, and the HUD Home Store would have, properties listed for 120, and I'd throw spaghetti at it for 20 and be like, oh crap, I should go get the property. And so, I was doing stuff like that. And I lived through all that stuff. And I had a coaching partner, and I was flipping houses. I didn't like holding any rentals because of my experience with my what I would call five low income rent to own crack houses that I didn't like when I got in Harrisburg, and kind of got rid of those. And in 2016, I was experiencing health problems, wasn't sure what was going on. I had a lot of memory issues, and at the same time, I had a line of credit at Waypoint Bank that was $20,000 back in 2003, one of my first lines that worked its way through Sovereign Bank. And then eventually, right around this time when I was sick, went to what I call Sadin Bank, which is Santander Bank, and they switched banks, and they illegally put a confession of judgment in there and secured my unsecured properties. And as I was sick, I was forced into a business bankruptcy, personal bankruptcy, and life went very upside down. Now, my friend Steve Cook, who created Life in There, the philosophy is you create a vision for your life. My friend Jason Wojo now runs it. They have a 3-day workshop on the vision part, but they also have a 3-day workshop on creating a business that if something happens to you, then the business still runs. That actually is based off of me and my story. And so you you create how you want your life to look, and you set your businesses up to fuel your life, investor fuel, to fuel your life, not the other way around. Okay, so you automate, you delegate, you outsource those parts of your life.
Got it.
Yeah. So,
Well, hey Russ, I hate cutting this short because I think you and I can sit here and talk for probably another 3 hours.
sure.
But running out of time. So if folks want to get a hold of you and talk a little bit more about maybe what you do in real estate, just connecting with people, right? That ability,
Right.
because I know it's an art. It's something you have to learn, right? And it's imperative that you learn it. So how do people get in touch with you?
Okay. So, Is this internal with your guys' group, or is this going out to everywhere?
This will go out. This will go out to everyone. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the since this will go out to everyone, they can connect with me at Russ the Consultant. Actually, connect with Russ at gmail.com. Okay, that's my email address. That's the easiest way to connect with me right now.
Okay.
Also, if they go on to Meetup, they can find our actual meetup in Lancaster called Bigger Connect. And there is connecting stuff. If you're in the Central PA, our area, please come to our meeting, and they can connect with me that way. I do have a book coming out that I'll send to you guys that I'm eventually going to put a mech on it, and they can connect that way too for people that are national. But for right now, connect with Russ would be the best way to do it, and that's kind of my card there. So
cool, and we'll put all your contact information in the show notes, so that way anybody that wants to reach out, they can. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this time. Russ, thank you very much for sharing your story, and
you're welcome.
You guys, connecting is huge. I would encourage anybody who is having issues with trying to, really connect with maybe the sellers you're talking to, or anybody really, reach out to Russ, find some ideas. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.